The sun peeked through the curtains, painting the living room in a warm glow. Whiskers, the ginger cat, stretched lazily on the rug, yawning wide. Nearby, huddled in a corner, was Crouton, a tiny hamster with a head full of plans. He twitched his nose, his beady eyes fixed on a jar on the kitchen counter.
We must act now! Those delicious crumbly cookies, they call to me.
Cookies? Sounds like a lot of effort. I'd rather nap.
Suddenly, a furry torpedo crashed into the sofa, sending a cushion flying. This was Bruno, a goofy golden retriever with a heart of gold and a head full of fluff.
Cookies? Did someone say cookies?
Crouton, using a thimble as a makeshift podium, cleared his throat.
My friends, I have a plan.
Crouton, despite his size, was a surprisingly good planner. He outlined his plan using a chewed-up crayon to draw diagrams on the floor. The plan, dubbed Operation Cookie Crumbs, was simple yet daring.
Bruno, you will be our distraction. Your job is to lure the human away from the kitchen.
Distraction? That sounds fun. Can I bark too?
Whiskers, his interest piqued, finally decided to participate.
And what do I do?
You, my friend, are our secret weapon. You will be the one to secure the prize.
Bruno, ever the enthusiastic participant, bounded into the kitchen, barking with joy. He ran in circles, chasing his tail, and generally creating a joyous ruckus. The human, startled by the sudden commotion, rushed into the kitchen, her morning newspaper forgotten.
Bruno, you silly dog. What's gotten into you?
She chuckled, scratching behind his ears. Bruno, lapping up the attention, wagged his tail with such force that he almost knocked over a vase. This was the signal. Whiskers, with the grace of a seasoned burglar, slunk into the kitchen, his emerald eyes fixed on the prize. He leaped onto the counter, his movements fluid and silent.
Whiskers reached the cookie jar. He nudged it with his nose, but it wouldn't budge. It was too heavy. He let out a frustrated meow.
Don't worry, I've got this.
Crouton, who had stealthily followed Whiskers, scurried up a dishcloth draped on the side of the counter. He began gnawing on the string that tied the cookie bag shut. It took a few minutes of determined chewing, but finally, the string snapped. The scent of freshly baked cookies filled the air.
Bruno, momentarily distracted from his game of chase the tail, poked his head into the kitchen, sniffing eagerly.
The human, still trying to calm Bruno, didn't notice the three furry bandits making their escape. The trio retreated to their secret hideout, a cozy den under the living room sofa. They gathered around their loot, crunching on the spoils of their adventure.
We make a great team.
Whiskers, licking his paws, couldn't help but agree. Even Crouton, usually so serious, had a twinkle in his eye. Later that day, the human discovered the open cookie jar. She smiled, shaking her head.
Those rascals!
She muttered, but there was no anger in her voice. In fact, she couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. They were her rascals, and their antics, though chaotic, always brought a smile to her face.